Of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. I am multicasting on several platforms. You might be watching on YouTube or Facebook Live or Twitter or LinkedIn. On whatever platform you're on, I want to welcome you to the conversation. So come on in and we can get started. If you like to live chat, you're certainly welcome to do that. And if you want to comment live, I'm going to give you the link to come on in. If you are one of my many growing followers, subscribers, I get my platforms mixed up. If you're one of the subscribers, I want to thank you for subscribing. And if you are new to the conversation, we want to welcome you. I know you're going to hear something that you like and you want to share and subscribe yourself. So here's what we're talking about today. The mass murder of 10 Black people by an 18-year-old self-proclaimed white supremacist in Buffalo is proof that racism is being handed down like a family heirloom. And as a result, it seems that a victim mentality is getting passed down in the Black community. Same scenario, different day. So history shows that racist white people have and will burn to the ground Black towns. They have and will hang Black men. They have and will rape Black women. They have and will wipe out family bloodlines. They will and have still, they will steal our lands. And yes, they will shoot and maim and kill us just for existing. That's what our conversation is about today. I know I'm tired of hearing about African Americans, Black people in America, Black and brown people, however you want to call us, categorize us. I'm tired of hearing about us as modern day victims. I want to hear about us as modern day fighters and as defenders of our families. And that's why I joined the National African American Gun Association, also known as NAGA. Um, a lot of people, it's where I commune and where a lot of other people commune with people who look like me in the 2A community, the Second Amendment community. 2A is what we call it. It's a place where I access firearms training with and from people who look like me and who I believe have my best interests at heart, because I could be their sister, I could be their daughter, I could be their mother, I could be their wife. And so, because they see those people, their family members in me, I feel like that's where I can best be myself and be vulnerable and get the training that I need. And that's why I'm a member of NAGA. Mr. Philip Smith, he's the national president of NAGA. And there are local chapters all over the country. And this past week, Philip Smith gave a public address and a call to action to Black people in America. And he has given me permission to share this with you. So that's what I'm going to do. Look at what he had to say.
And a founder of the National African American Gun Association. I want to have a conversation with you today. It's not a happy time for the organization. We are hurting. The country's hurting because of the recent shooting that took place in Buffalo over the weekend on Saturday. This is a tough time for us to kind of reason out what is good and what is bad, and more importantly, what the direction the country is going. The shooting in Buffalo is another incident in a long history of violence perpetuated against the Black community. The National African American Gun Association feels this pain and hurt for those families who lost loved ones. And sincerely, our hearts are with you. All life is precious, and even one person losing their life is unacceptable. Unfortunately, we have seen this continuous cycle directed at the black community for the last 300 years. It goes on and on. The Tulsa Massacre, the Rosewood Massacre, Elaine Massacre, and as of recent history, Dylan Wolf shooting 9 members at church in Charleston, South Carolina. And this latest tragedy of Peyton Gendron shooting 13 people in Buffalo, New York. It's seemingly a scar that never heals for us, and it's only getting worse with the polarization within the United States. For my community of millions of black folks in this country, and for the millions still to come, we are at a place in history where we can either continue to be sheep for slaughter, or we can finally pivot to a solution. Prayers and thoughts are not enough to protect our community at this time. To mitigate the chances of such incidents from occurring again would require a discussion in this country that I believe most are still not ready for. Until that occurs, it is necessary for us to take individual and collective measures to legally protect ourselves. Identifying what could be done differently is not blaming the victims of this tragedy. It lies solely on the shooter and the people and systems of racist propaganda that were behind him. The time is now, the time is here, to change our mindset as a people. Look around the nation. Nobody's going to provide shelter or strategy for our survival as a community, so we must do it ourselves. We must adapt and re-socialize all black Americans in a philosophy and ethos of self-defense based on utilizing firearms in a legal, law-abiding, but defensive posture. Peaceful protest alone will not save our communities. No, I'm not advocating violence in any form, but we have the right to protect ourselves as American citizens. That is all. What I am saying and suggesting is that every black American needs to purchase a gun and get trained so if out in public or at home, you come face to face with a lethal threat, you have a fighting chance. That is what the Second Amendment is based on. Uniquely structured, NAGA can provide an immediate network of firearms trainers and established chapters. The National African American Gun Association holds firearm safety classes and training in over 100 chapters across the United States. I am the president of NAGA, and my goal for starting this organization was to ensure all Americans of color were properly educated and trained to defend themselves. We have helped tens of thousands of black women feel safe as they travel to and from work and protect their home. We have worked tirelessly to make home environments safe for children by demystifying guns. We have mentored thousands of young black men by bridging the generation gap and passing down valuable knowledge. And we have equipped our black men to be strong leaders of their homes and communities. Our organization has grown to be the largest African American gun club in the history of the United States. And we will not stop until we have properly educated and equipped black Americans to exercise their fundamental rights to protect themselves, their loved ones, and their property. Our black people are one big soft target waiting to get attacked again and again and again. Because everyone knows, especially those who want to kill, beat, hurt, and quite frankly, exterminate us out of existence, that we don't have guns collectively as a community. The insanity is that we keep a mindset of somebody will protect us, so just hold on. Yes, I'm tired of being tired when it comes to attacks on the black community, and we need to do something about it. Bullies, crooks, and yes, even domestic terrorists think twice about attacking those who can fight back. Now, at this time, before I close, I want to read the victims who were shot and killed on Saturday. Please take a moment of silence to honor them, respect them, and to remember them. The victims are the following: 32-year-old Roberta Drury, 52-year-old Margus Morrison, 53-year-old Andre Macknell, 55-year-old Aaron Salter, 62-year-old Geraldine Talley, 65-year-old Celestine Cheney, 67-year-old Hayward Patterson, 72-year-old Catherine Macy, 77-year-old Pearl Young, and 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield. Please take a moment to honor, and I mean honor them.
All right, that was, I cut him off prematurely. Sorry about that. That was Philip Smith, the national president of the National African American Gun Association. And I accidentally cut him off because I wanted to, since he at the end wanted us to commemorate and to recognize the fallen Buffalo soldiers, I wanted to put that list up for you, because I have that list of the people. So these are the names that he was reading off. And so if you know anyone in the Buffalo area who was affected by this personally, our condolences go out. And if you're one of those people as well, our condolences go out to you. And that is that should be another reason why you would be more active and want to do more than just march and just gather and talk about your loved one. Past tense. In fact, they had a rally, and some of the victims' family members showed their anger. And so, even in our despair, in our pain, the family members of the victims are made to feel like, oh, they should just be sorrowful and that they should be forgiving. And no, I don't feel like if one of my family members was shot and killed in this way, there's no way I would stand up and talk about how sorry and how sad I was. That's certainly not the posture that I would give. And so that's why we're talking about this today. And we have Mikel Muhammad. He's on in the chat. And if I could quit getting all that other stuff. He's saying, thank you for your outstanding commentary. And he's ready to come back on the program. I had him on to talk about the new Black Panther Party for self-defense and what their posture is and their strategy is for issues like this that keep happening in our community to people. And so thanks for that word, Brother Mikhail. But that was, we were listening to Philip Smith, National President and founder of the National African American Gun Association. You can go to naga.co. I put it in the chat, naga.co, to connect with a local chapter in your area. And if there isn't one in your area, you can let me know, inbox me, and reach out to me, and I will make sure to put you in contact with some people. Now, if you didn't know, I'm about to tell you, but most Black people in America know that May 19th was just yesterday. May 19th was a commemoration of what would have been Malcolm X's 97th birthday. And when he was alive, he advocated for self-defense, self-reliance, and self-preservation. Malcolm X said that self-preservation is the first law of nature. It's like living in fear is not natural. Rather, preparing to defend yourself, that's the most natural response. And so I say to you and to everyone, be prepared to defend yourself. Don't just live in fear, and be appalled that this self-proclaimed white racist, white supremacist would try to target elderly people at a grocery store, minding their own business, doing what they do on a Saturday afternoon. It just, that should also tell you how they operate. There, if he really, I had do another podcast, and one of the things that we said in that other podcast is, if this dude really wanted to shoot some people, shoot black people. Why didn't you go to a neighborhood full of black people who probably got guns? Because he's trying to pick the soft targets. He's trying to pick people who is more likely that they won't fight back. But here's the thing, if everybody gets in a defensive mode, then the people who want to pick us off, they will not be able to just pick and choose who they can shoot and likely be able to kill without being that without them defending themselves, because we all will be armed and trained, and that'll be an awakening for some asses. Okay, that's what will be an awakening. And so Malcolm X said that preservation is the first law of nature, and living in fear is not natural. He said that in history, he said that the history of unpunished violence against African American people clearly indicates that we must be prepared to defend ourselves, or we will continue to be defenseless people at the mercy of a ruthless and violent racist mob. And he spoke these words more than 55 years ago, and they are still relevant today. Yet there'll be some white people who will hear my message, and they will hear us black people talking about our Second Amendment rights, and or just the idea that black people want to be ready to defend themselves and defend ourselves against acts of aggression and terrorism, and they will become alarmed at that. But they forget that when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941, I think it was, that the U.S. government's position was to organize a military force and to attack back, to go and attack those who attacked them. Okay, those same people, they will choose to forget that when the terrorist attack of September 11th on American soil that killed hundreds of people, the U.S. government chose to collect themselves militarily and to organize and fight back. They don't equate the two. They choose to not equate that when Russia attacked Ukraine and the US government is sending millions, if not billions of dollars to Ukraine so that Ukraine can defend themselves against that attack, that it's the same thing. Black people getting themselves in a position to be organized and defend themselves is the same as those three incidents and much more that are the American way. If I can say that, it's the American way. But when a terrorist attacks elderly black people living their lives, going about their own business, and then we decide that, you know what, we need to get ourselves together, get armed, get trained, and be ready to shoot back when people shoot at us, all of a sudden that's a problem. So I hope that whoever is looking at this looks at everything that was said, and not that we are saying we want to go out and shoot all type of people, and we want to, no, we're ready. We need to be armed and ready to defend ourselves and our families. And that's what this is all about. So some people will never understand what Phil Smith's or Malcolm X's or your point of view or my point of view is, because they don't have to. They don't have to, therefore they won't. Nevertheless, that still means that we need to be ready to fight whenever and wherever the fight comes to us. So it's okay to hope for the best, but it's definitely worth preparing for the worst. And that's all I have to say. Again, your call to action is to go to naga.co and find out about the closest chapters in your area. And if there's not one, you reach out to me. You can find me at info@Steffanie Rivers. I'm going to put it in the chat. info@steffanierivers.com is my email address. And I can help you to find out more information. So to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks, and you have a super